So you're sober?
Not really. I mean, no, I wouldn't say I'm sober. I just haven't had a drink in like 6 years.
Okay.
So I do other stuff.
Well, everybody's got a different, so that's where I'm at.
Sure.
No drinking, no hard drugs.
Oh,
since,
cool.
Since 2015.
Nice.
I consider
Congrats.
myself sober. I like weed. I like mushrooms.
Sure.
But
Yeah, me too.
There's lots of other people who say, no, you're not. So
Okay. Yeah. So it depends on, what you call it. Yeah.
I think you got to look at, okay, are these activities, is my life moving forward?
Yeah.
How am I treating people?
Yeah.
Are my hobbies dying out? Are my friends getting smaller? Am I isolating? And if none of that's going on, I'm like, what's the problem?
The way I like to think about it is like, I like doing the drugs that won't ruin your fucking life. Mm-hmm. That pretty much sums it up for me.
So not cocaine.
I don't, I've never done coke. Hasn't happened once. Never done coke. And then you could list all the other hard ones. I haven't done those either.
Mm-hmm. How come you don't drink? Is it always like that? You just didn't like it?
Dude, nah, it wasn't even that. I mean, like, I was lucky. I didn't have like a problem or nothing, which was cool. I did the same thing we've all done, which is I woke up hungover one day and was like, I'm gonna chill for a second.
Yeah,
dude.
this is bullshit.
I was like, this fucking
poison?
sucks. I'm gonna chill for a second. And then like genuinely that snowballed from like a day to a couple of weeks to like all of a sudden I was like a month in, and a month in I was like, I feel really good.
Dude, you stay off that stuff, booze for 60 to 90 days, you will feel completely different. Your complexion changes, the whites of your eyes, creativity comes back. That stuff's poison.
It's nuts. And like the thing is too, and this is gonna sound heavy, but I don't want it to, but like it's just what it is. Like, at this time too, it's like, I'm in my early mid 20s, and like I remember distinctly like 4 weeks in of not drinking, I just remember feeling like, bro, the amount of like heavy suicidal thoughts, which like I was never gonna do anything.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about. It
never felt like that. I never felt like I was I was really at that level, but I just thought about it all the time. I just thought about, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if I jumped here? Whatever. That shit just like plummeted, dude. It was just kind of gone. And I'm like, beer? Like that did that? Like, that's crazy, bro.
Okay,
so
good enough to leave that alone.
Yeah, it was cool. So it's been, and then it just kind of snowballed, and all of a sudden it's been like 6 years and things have been going good. So
yeah,
hell
yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Is that ever challenging in the music industry? Like not just alcohol, but drugs? Nah?
Not for me. I don't know. Like for other people, maybe, but I think it goes back to the other thing where I'm like, I'm just cool with me.
Yeah, your drug is authenticity,
as it is,
man.
bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be at the party probably anyways. And not like in a diss sort of way, but I'm just like, it's just usually not my jam. You know what I mean? Like, unless the party's like bitching. But yeah, if it's just like a bunch of people hanging out, getting fucked up, which is great. But I'm like, what we doing?
Right.
It's like, but like at the same time, I know that most people don't want to do what I do in terms of like, dude, if I set aside a day, I get maybe a good, and this is not a every weekend occurrence or even an every month occurrence, just clarifying, but like I set aside a day, I get the studio set up how I like it, things are cool, like feeling good. And I'm like, okay, turn the phone off. Let me eat like 8 grams of mushrooms.
Okay. Yep. We're doing it.
And like dive into these speakers and play guitar for fucking 6 hours and all that. Like, I love that. And that for me is like very therapeutic. And I'm checking in. So it's just fun as with like, there's usually some shit there too that you got to deal with and face.
Yeah. But it can go south real quick.
Yeah. But like, I love it. Like, it's just so good. Like, I
it's
like
almost
that part
like,
too.
how much can I endure?
Yeah.
How tough am I? Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, but most people don't want to do that. And that's cool too. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot, like most people don't want to hang out in front of speakers for
But if you can
6
get
hours.
a black belt in that, you really can. You see what it's about. You're like, this isn't about the distraction of I'm in a rainbow and look at the fractals. It's actually about connecting with yourself and then tapping into this whatever collective consciousness, higher self, where ideas can flow through and you can use your brain in a completely different way and come up with art and songs and things like that.
Like last year, for example, which was like the last time I like tripped on mushrooms, which was like about a year ago. So that's for reference too. Like that's I know I got the mushroom belt, but like it's not a
it's not an every month, every quarter.
For that level,
you can't know
that level of dosage.
You can't,
you know.
And
so
then
like,
not to mention, you learn so much about like yourself and the universe. It takes a long time to integrate that.
So like last year, you know, a little background. My dad has this autoimmune disease, and him and my mom moved to Colorado for 3 months for him to do a medical trial for treatment for that disease. So they were gone for like the summer of last year, and my part in that was like, I'll watch and take care of their house, you know, and me and my girl, we live together. So I'm like spending a few nights there at that house, spending a few nights at home, but I like built out and set up the studio in the back of the house there. You know, it was like I had just dropped a project of mine that it really meant a lot. You know, I dropped them off at the airport 5 days after that, which was the 4th of July. I set up the studio, kind of built it all out. And then like maybe that same week I was like, let's eat 8 grams of mushrooms in my childhood home and see what happens. And dude, I had all these realizations that like, cause it was like, I'm thinking about my life and I'm thinking about it in the sense of like, me dropping my dad off at the airport might have been the last time I saw him. Like, there's a chance he's going to die doing this.
And
like,
you're
it's
in your childhood home,
and I'm like at home, and I'm thinking about like my woman who I've been with for at the time, you know, 4 years, give or take. And it's like, am I stepping up all the way there as much as I can too? And like, I start thinking too in a sense of like what I want to do career-wise and music and all that. And I'm like, bro, like you keep thinking that these are like separate things. You keep thinking that like I can't devote all the time I can to the career and all the time I can to family. And I'm like, bro, devoting the time to the family is how you are able to do everything in the career. This is like the home base. This is ground.
Explain that a little bit.
This is foundation. You cannot build a house without like sturdy concrete foundation. So if the people around you aren't good and your family and your community locally aren't good, you can't build the rest of it. It's going to f everything up. Your whole life's going to be in shambles.
You can't hit your highest vibration if the main people you're spending time with at home, something's not right.
Also, none of it matters. Like none of it fucking matters. And like the answer of everything you want to do is like literally right here in your backyard. Like you can do this. And you are making these records and building these connections with the people around you, literally from the backyard you grew up in, and you can do that. And so there was, I cried a lot. It was cool, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I felt like I saw my life in terms of like how I can do this, and I'm like, I'm here to help the people around me, and I don't know exactly all the ways I'm going to do that, but like I do feel like it is through music because it's something bigger and greater than myself. It's bigger and greater than all of us. And it's like, it's through that all these other things get to work out. So it's symbiotic.